What's up, everybody? I am super excited to bring you another video this week. I am putting down the cooking utensils and all that good food I cook, and we're gonna have some cool, calm, and collected conversations. But before we get into that, I want you to click like, and I want you to click subscribe. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna wait. Thank you. My millions and millions of fans. And I want you to comment because I definitely want to hear what you all have to say. So let's get right to it. Welcome back, everybody. Don't y'all love my intro? Hey. So, as it describes in the title, yes, I moved to Dallas. I moved to Dallas, Texas, y'all. Dallas, Texas, in the middle of a pandemic. And I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to tell you the high, the lows, and where I'm currently at. And so I'm skipping all the way back to 2019, probably in December. I, always like to go somewhere in the beginning of the year. So I like to travel. I love to travel. You see the globe? I love to travel around the world. And so I said, where can I go? And Dallas popped up in my head. And so I said, okay, let me see what Dallas is all about. And so I caught a great flight. And I said, okay, flights are looking good. And I also was watching a sermon by Bishop T.D. Jakes called Destination to Destiny. And before I knew I wanted to travel to Dallas, I loved the sermon. I loved the series, actually. And, it just kind of just pumped me up to just be great, to go after 2020 and kill it. And no matter what goes on, just know that I was going to just have the best year, right? And so I booked the flight to Dallas, and I was super excited. And I said, hey, I'm just going to go down and see what Dallas is all about, because my mom will rant and she will rave about how she loved it and everything like that. Now, backstory. I'm a person that always wanted to move to Atlanta probably since 2016. In fact, I went down to Atlanta in September 2019 trying to move down there. I had about 5 interviews and back to back. No. I mean, interviews, y'all know y'all had them kind of interviews where you just laughing and you just talking and stuff like that, and it's just so smooth, and then come back and it's like, I'm like, And before I drove down to Atlanta from Chicago. And so before I left Chicago, I had an interview, one of my most hardest interview for managers in a new position. And they came back and said, hey. So I was like, well, let me go back and make that money. And so I was like, I'll see you later, Atlanta, and I'll try to get down there. And so skipping forward, I wound up booking the flight to Dallas, and it was in January, the second week of January. So I remember getting here. I'm standing outside. It's kind of cold, and I'm checking the Uber app, and it's like $40. I'm like, I'm not gonna pay all that money to catch no Uber. And so I'm looking on the app. I'm like, well, this cost $40 to rent a car, but they want the car I wanted. And I was like, I'm gonna take it back. So I'm just all in my head. And so I jumped on the rent a car place, anticipating to rent the vehicle or whatever like that. And so when I got to the rental car, if you fly to DFW, the rental car place is like 50 miles away. I'm like, where is this place at? And so I wound up getting there, and I checked my Uber app. Some told me to do it again, and then it was cheaper. I think it was about like $13. And so I went to check in. I got some rest. I woke up, guys, and it was like so nice and sunny. It was so peaceful. It was like very like calm. Like I was like very like, it was just such an experience. Like I signed up to just go to an experience in Dallas. And I was super excited because I always wanted to visit the Potter's House, Bishop T.D. Jakes' church. I'm a very spiritual person, and so I was anticipating that. And I got up, went to the rental car place, and I remember getting to the rental car place. I rented a premium car, and so when I got there, I'm picky, y'all, and you know they call me bougie. But I wound up getting there, and they was gonna give me this little white Impala with no sunroof. I'm like, I don't want that. And then the guy was like, well, we got this. I think it was a blue Wrangler. I'm like, it's too blue, it's too aqua. And then he said, we got this Grand Jeep Cherokee. And I looked, and I used to work at CarMax part-time, and so I love cars. I love cars since I was just a little boy. And so I looked, it was nice and gray, and I walked over, and they had a panoramic roof, and it had leather seats, and it was black inside, and I was just like, yes, this is what I need. And I got it. The guy was like, hey, you don't have to pay for the gas or whatever. It was full tank. I didn't have to pay for the gas. I'm just like, what is going on? I'm already loving my Dallas experience. And so remember, I said to myself, I'm just here. I'm going with the flow. I'm not, trying to get into anything or whatever like that. And so, of course, I had family here and stuff, and I really didn't let people know that I was here. And I wound up connecting with them and stuff. They found out I was here through my social media and stuff like that. And so I went to the Galleria Mall. I walked around there, and they say Texas is traffic is terrible, and I haven't experienced it. I've seen it. But that particular weekend, the roads was open. It was just like God was telling me, like, here's an experience for you, And I was just like, wow, the roads are open and sunny. The weather it's not too cold, but it's just, I'm getting chills thinking about it because this is how vivid it was. And so I continue to look around the city. I found this neighborhood called, Deep Ellum. I went to Deep Ellum. I got me some good old barbecue at the Pecan Lounge. And then I went to a pie shop. I can't think of the name. Emperor's Pies, I believe. And I just walked around, and I got up with one of my cousins. Shout out to Monica, and she took me around. We ate at this restaurant called Brick and Bones, and it was the bomb mac and cheese. And I remember I had me a good old drink or whatever. It was like a nice little low-key spot in that area. And so we talked, and she was telling me about her Dallas experience. She's born and raised, and her experience and stuff, and she loved it. And I'm like, man, just pumping me up. I said, okay. So that ended, and I got up for church. It was time to go to the Potter's house. And I remember getting up from church. It was early in the morning because I never been before. And so people was like, get there early, hurry up. You're going to have to walk across a bridge. And I'm just like, okay, let me get up early because y'all, I'm late. In real time, I'm late for real. So I got up early. I ironed my clothes. I'm super excited. I got up, and I get there, got my gospel music on, nice open roads, nice and sunny, right? And so when I got there, it was a line. I'm like, oh my God, I'm late, or I'm not gonna get a seat or whatever like that. And so I get to the Potter's house, and I get to park in the parking lot. So I said, I see why people were saying you gotta walk over a bridge, because that's, if you late, you gonna have to walk over that bridge. So I was on time, y'all. Checked in at the front desk. My godmom told me, check in the front desk. They walked me right to the front row. I was probably 3 rows back, right at the stage. I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm kind of rocking back and forth. My spirit is so vulnerable because I'm just like, oh my God, I'm here. Everybody's so nice, from the parking lot into inside. And I remember sitting down, and I remember sitting next to this lady. Her name was Jackie, and she's from New York. And she just started talking to me, and she just started telling me, hey, what brings you here? And I said, well, I'm just looking, I'm looking to relocate and stuff like that. And so by then I'm thinking like, Dallas is, a place for me to go. And then she was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, man, in Atlanta, this is the place for you. And she just started speaking into my life. And I was kind of like rocking back and forth. And I'm just like, oh my God, I was about to cry because she was really hitting on points and just confirming for me on why I need to be in Dallas and stuff. And so church started, praise and worship, awesome. Praise and worship was awesome. Bishop Jakes and Lady Sarita Jakes, they did something called Model Homes, and that was the first one, so that was so powerful. My friend Kia, I grew up with her in Chicago at my home church. She was there, and I didn't let her know I was coming, and I seen her, so that was kind of like, so later on, we, decided to get up later and stuff like that. So we got up later that night. I got up with another one of my cousins. We went to Gloria's taco, super good. We ate, and I talked to some more people about them moving to Dallas and stuff. And everybody was moving and shaking, and they just like, yeah, this is why I'm here. This has been happening, and it's just been so awesome. I was in this rough spot or something like that, and that was so inspiring to hear. And so I'm like, okay. And I got up with Kia later on, and she took me to somewhere in Victory Park, and it reminded me of like a little Times Square because it was so bright and it was so beautiful. And we went to this bar and we talked or whatever like that. So by the end, I'm just like, oh my God. I said, I love it here. I can do this. I went downtown. I'm from Chicago, y'all. Downtown Chicago, what? Cannot compare. Now, New York, yeah, y'all got us. But downtown Chicago, oh my God. I said, if I ever move back home, I would have to have a place downtown Chicago. That's the only place I'm moving to. And it was just so, the downtown Dallas, I said I can do this. It was high rises, they were lit up at night, and it just made me kind of feel a piece of home, a piece of comfort. I remember driving, and I pulled over on this street called M, and I remember I called my grandmother, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And at that time, I'm just like, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I said, I'm relocating. I'm relocating to Dallas. And I went home, went to sleep, had an early flight. I always do that to myself because I hate getting up in the morning. And I got on the DFW. Woo, that was another story. Almost got left. Walking to the gate, and it was an officer talking to the agent. They was just talking. I'm the only one running on the plane. Everybody seated down. Crazy. I got lost so bad, but I think it was all in the plan and the purpose, right? And so I got on the plane, was knocked out because I had to go to work the same morning. Me and this lady, she was listening to this song by Anthony Brown called Blessings on Blessings. Every time I turn around, blessings on blessings. She was so happy. And it was crazy because she lived in the west suburbs of Chicago, not too far from where I lived. And she was just saying how she had a boo thing. And she was just like, man, another confirmation to me. You need to get down here. Because she was like, I'm getting down. Because she was so in love. It was such a beautiful thing to see, right? And so I'm on 10. I have a friend, and she's in the middle of making the same, move and stuff. Wanted to be here for years. I got back. I said, I love it. I have to go to Dallas. I'm doing it. If I don't do it, I was listening to TD Jakes, and he was hitting points. He was hitting it like, get it done, get it together, move on your purpose and everything. I said, I can't ignore the signs anymore. Oftentimes so many people will tell you, about your purpose, or you will see it and you already know, but you don't act on it. And so that's where I was. I was always ignoring the signs, and I just was like, I have to jump on purpose and do it. And so I was telling my friends, I was telling my family, and they were like, okay. And for me, I'm telling myself because I couldn't believe it. That was in January. I will see things, guys. I will doubt myself, literally. I remember driving to work. I'm like, doubting myself and hearing doubt from other people, and like, is this the right move? I remember just had my head down praying. I pumped on my brakes. I looked up. In front of me, it was a truck. It was a Jeep, and it had Texas plates. And I said, going forward, I'm not going to discount the small things that I see. I will be on Facebook looking at people, like pages, they have funny videos, and they'll be like, they're from Texas. I'm not taking anything from granted, because I'm just like, I'm believing in this season that this is where God wants me. And so it was like God had keys, like, here, this is where I want you. This is where I want you. It was so clear. And so I did it, y'all. February, I gave myself a date. I said in March 16th, I'm moving to Dallas. I gave myself a date, and it was getting closer. I was working at Carmex part-time. I was working at this health company, and I was just worried, and that's a natural feeling, to be worried. How I'm going to another state and how I'm going to be financially stable and different things like that. And so I remember so clear that I had to leave. I had to leave my full-time job, and I was at Carmex. And Carmex, I was like, I know what I can do for Carmex. I know what I can do, to move and sell cars and full-time. You can make good money. And so I said, okay. I applied for that position, and that was just so amazing, and it was so smooth, y'all. Like, my manager, my OGM, the store manager, he talked to me. He said, okay. And I put my application in, and I was looking to hear back from the store. So I was going to another huge store in Texas called the Texas Stadium store. It was so huge. And while I was waiting back for an interview, I'm waiting on that. Then I'm trying to see where I'm going to stay, what I'm going to do. I wanted to stay downtown Dallas. And, downtown Dallas was kind of like very like expensive. And the square footage and different things. So, y'all, apartment looking is so stressful. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't do this. And I was looking at places. My friend who's coming down here, she was looking too, because she's like, man, how you gonna get down to Dallas before me? I've been wanting to move here for 6 years. I'm like, I'm coming, I'm gonna do it for us. And so we would talk literally every single day about moving and getting it done and stuff, because it's just like you're blindly walking by faith, right? And so it's getting close. I booked my trip. My mom, ironically, was going to be here for her best friend's 50th birthday party. Shout out to Auntie Lisa. And I took my grandma along. I said, come on, we come in the apartment looking. My mom gonna be here already. I need y'all to, help me look or whatever like that. So I booked my trip for February. And I remember at work, and Carmex finally called me. It was a manager there, and he called me. He was talking. He was like, why you want to move? And I'm like, I'm ready for a change and such, and I'm excited. He said, okay, well, I'm gonna have to schedule an interview, whatever like that, with the other managers and stuff like that, and I'll get back with you. I said, okay, cool, because I'm kind of like anxious, like, oh, I just want to, know that I have something to get down there. And so I got back to my desk. I sat down, probably not even like 10 minutes. And when I sat down, one of my close friends, we were texting, probably, that was a Monday. We were texting Sunday about the auto show. And I was like, oh, you there? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, man, I love the auto show. And so that's all we text on Sunday. She texted me back on Monday, and it just said, you gotta go. And so I'm thinking, she's talking about you gotta go to the auto show. I'm like, yeah, I know, I missed it. And I opened my phone, and then she texted some more, and she said, you gotta go Dallas, 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 Dallas. And I was like, wow. The job just called me. She sent me that not too long. I got a call back from the manager, right? And I rushed back out. I'm like, ooh, let me see. He said, you know what? Your LGM was just telling us that you're just an awesome person and stuff, and he was just saying you don't have to do any interviews. We would love to have you on board. We're going to start processing the paperwork. I'm like, wow. And it really didn't hit me. You know, I'm just like, wow, because I'm still not believing that I'm trying to move to another state. And so I was like, wow, wow. So I got that. So I had that hope. It was 100% commission job, but I had that hope that I was going to, you know, just have something to make some money, right? And so I had that was going on. February comes, I'm going down there with my grandma and stuff. We get here and everything, and so it's apartment looking. I had 20 apartments, y'all. I'm exaggerating. I probably had about 20, I don't know. But I got up and I start looking, and it was so overwhelming. I'm a review-driven person, and if you don't got good reviews, then I don't got nothing for you. And so I was reading one place, and they was just like, oh, they be breaking in cars or taking tires. I'm like, what? And so I'm just like, you know, I'm very picky, and I want what I want. And I get what I want. You know, everybody should. And so I remember after probably about the third place, I think I had 7 places to see that day. I just leaned in the car and I was just like, oh my God, like this is so stressful. Because I was worried about things. I was worried about, I'm going to get approved for the place. How's this going to go? And all this. I was just worried. And I remember my grandma, she saw me and she was just praying for me. And she started praying for me, and she was just asking God to help me or whatever like that. And I kind of just got up and I'm just like, okay. And I saw the place that I wanted to see, and I really loved it. It was brand new. Never lived in the unit. No one never lived in the unit before. New appliances, washer and dryer. The color schemes that I love black, gray, and whites. That's all I wear and stuff. And so I said, I'm going to do that. No reviews, no nothing. I'm going to be the first one to see that place. I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. Saturday, we went partying to my Auntie Lisa's 50th. And, you know, I'm just kind of like at the point where I got to show my mom. I showed my mom. She loved it. I put in the application because I was worried, y'all. And I'm going to tell you, 2019 wasn't the best year for me. And I'm going to talk about that later. And so it was some things that I was worried about on my credit report and stuff like that. And my mom was willing to help me co-sign and stuff and put the app in. And I got the place. I'm sitting in the place, actually. And I was just like, it was conditional. It was conditional first because they had to run a background. They said something on my background. The lady came out and we started cracking up. My grandma always crack up because, you know, I love me some fried chicken. So she was like, well, you gonna fail your test, they're gonna find an overdose of fried chicken. And so we were all cracking up or whatever like that. Well, what can it be? And so, okay, I went back home. I'm like, okay, I had to put it into place. And so this is February 3rd, y'all. Mind you, my date was March 16th. That week, I finally got the call. You got approved for the apartment. I'm like, wow. Then it was go time, y'all. And so God is still showing himself worthy, and I'm just kind of like blindly walking, and I'm just like, okay, wow. So I'm really starting to tell people, you know, I'm moving to Dallas. Like, it was still kind of like, I'm moving to Dallas, y'all. And so I wound up telling people I'm moving to Dallas or whatever like that. And it was getting real. I really didn't want like a going away thing. I didn't want a big anything, because I just wanted to get there and done smoothly. I wound up shipping my vehicle down there, and I started over. Like I said, 2019 was a rough year, and I started over. I didn't want an expensive move. I threw everything away that I can. I'm losing weight, so I didn't have to take a lot of clothes with me and different things like that. And my car, I remember I found someone to ship my car because I wasn't driving down on no road, no 14 hours. No, 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 no. And so I, wound up doing it. And my car, the man came and got it, and he said, I'll be there before you. I said, well, can you, kind of stretch that out? He was like, yeah. And so I started to pack and stuff, and skipping forward, I had something at my home church, and I went out to eat with close family and friends that day. Then it was time. It was time for me to go to Dallas. I remember my mom, she was an emotional wreck. Yeah, I remember she left. And I remember that after she left, I was just crying. I couldn't stop crying, y'all. And I didn't expect it. Like, tears was just flowing and flowing while I'm packing. I'm crying, trying to keep my composure, because I didn't want to see my grandma to see me cry, or my brother. He took me to the airport, and I was just crying. Got to the airport, took 2 beds, got my car, got here in Dallas. Mind you, got here in Dallas, and my car was here in the parking space. The man met me. I paid him. Coronavirus, y'all. Everything started to shut down. Grocery stores, toilet paper off the shelves. Everything was gone, right? And so that was crazy. That was crazy. I got here March 16th in Dallas. I got my keys to my place, got my car, drag stuff in, trying to get acclimated and stuff, trying to go to the grocery stores. I couldn't find nothing. I couldn't find anything. I went to like about 7 grocery stores, Walmarts, and I did wind up finding some things, but it was just like stuff like it wasn't anything worth buying, but something to have, because my mom was like, put something in your refrigerator or whatever like that. And so I wound up doing that, and I was here, went to CarMax, finally started CarMax, went to CarMax and was doing my trainings and stuff, looking forward to that. Just trying to be optimistic about everything, because you just didn't know what was going on. They were shutting down things. They were, cases going up, the media blowing things. You just didn't know what was going on. And while I was here, I was getting interviews like over the phone, and I had an interview with I remember Wells Fargo called, another company, the census had called, and everything like that. And I was getting that, but everything was coming to a halt because of everything was going on. I remember my mom called, and she was like, yeah, you need to come home. And my uncle was like, okay, I remember he said, you proved to be grown. Now let's get home and be with your family. And so March 16th, I was here. I went right home. March 20th, that was on a Friday, right? And I went home. I went home during the pandemic. I had a whole apartment here. My stuff was here and stuff. I jumped home because you just didn't know. I'm like, oh, they might cancel the flights. You just didn't know. I went home. I was home for 3 months. March 16th, right? And man, I'm just thinking about it. God is so amazing. I told you I went down to Atlanta because I had a job interview. I found out, about a job. They called me. I don't know. I always put in resumes, y'all, just to, just put in resumes. You just don't know where that next great job will come. I put in a resume and I got a job. Do you know it was the job that I went down to Atlanta to do? Same company, different position. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. 100% work from home. I don't have to go into nobody's office. I'm making awesome money. Guys, I'm making potentially $100,000 a year. a guy who doesn't have a college education, you know, who who knows his worth and who knows things. But this is God. This is the power of God. He creates resumes. He creates destinies. He blows your mind. I'm saying, I'm working at this job, and it was funny because I'm just like, wow, I could be working. I could be moving to Atlanta now. I got 100% work for job, but it was Dallas where he wanted me. I started that April 20th. And once I started that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go home, because I really missed it. Even though I didn't have that Dallas, the couple trips here and stuff in there, I was ready to come back to Dallas. And so my mom's birthday was May 15th. We said, okay, she coming down with me. And so she came down here with me, and we got on the road. I had to drive anyway, y'all. I had to drive anyway. I was just like, oh my God. We drove May 16th. March 16th, I left. On the March 16th, I got back here, came down to move, I'm sorry, and May 16th, I drove back to get here into Texas. So the rest is history. You know, I'm really enjoying it. I'm still at a place where I just feel just weird. Like, it's kind of feel like I can just go to my mama's house, my god sister's house, god family house, but I can't. I'm in Dallas, Texas. And I wound up, you know, just like, it's just like this feeling that I just feel. And so I'm so grateful. I'm grateful. God is good. And there's so many opportunities. I have talked to countless people, and they telling me, you know, I moved here, I never looked back. And it's just like, you can make money here and stuff, and things are opening up. I'm building my brand, the King Stefan LLC, and I thank you all for watching this video, because this is a part of my brand. This is a part of me. It's a long time coming. And so I encourage people to launch into your destiny. Don't worry about what people want to say. Don't worry about validation. If it's in the pit of your stomach, and if you feel it, if you feel that God is moving you, that he's pushing you into a next, then jump up on it. The only thing that could have gotten in my way by moving here was me. If I just said I couldn't do it, or I take the wrong turn, I would have messed it up. I'm 30 years old, and I'm just like, it's now or never. And I encourage you to listen to that series, Destination, by Destiny by Destination, Destination by Destiny. It's by TD Jakes. It'll pop up on YouTube, and it just encouraged me all the way. And so I'm still, you know, here by faith, and I'm just like, wow, like, this is so amazing. And I'm loving Dallas. And this is not going to be my first video, because I got to let you know how I love it, what's my pros, what's my cons, and everything like that. But I just thank you all for listening to this. I thank you all. And I hope it encouraged someone to just jump to that next career, jump to that next relocation, and just do it, y'all. We only have one life to live, and we got to do everything we can. We are powerful. We can do all things through Christ strength. Whatever you believe in, you can do it. You can do it. And so I thank you all so much for listening to my video about how I got here to Dallas. And again, please like, subscribe, and comment, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you're dealing with, and we can talk it out. I can give you some tips and things on how I got through it. And all my millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of fans, hi, I thank you so much. I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it. Have a good one.